What is going on, everybody? It's your host, Nolan Carroll, and this is Conversations with Carroll. Welcome back. We're doing these episodes really rapidly, and I'm glad because a lot of the things that we're doing now is question-based, and you guys are submitting your questions, and I'm receiving them, and I'm answering them. And a lot of the videos that you've been seeing, a lot of the reels that you've been seeing, is me giving advice to people that need help. And I've been seeing it more and more, and especially with me coaching now and also running businesses, it's not necessarily about the business itself, it's about the people in business. And the people in business that need advice, ask questions, or you might need advice or need to ask questions. It all goes hand in hand with finding out information and knowledge. So just being able to share that with you guys, just with the questions that you've submitted, by my email or in my DMs. And I've just been trying my best to be able to answer them as well as possible. So let's go ahead and kick off this Q&A session again and see what your questions look like. I continue to have a good mindset of putting in work, but sometimes I come up short. That discourages me. It takes me a little while to get back and start again. How do I combat these emotions of doing the work and coming up short? Don't beat yourself up before you start. Like, at the end of the day, what you're saying is you have a plan, but you're already thinking about how it's not going to go right. And you can't think like that. If you're putting everything that you need to in place, if you're preparing the right way, if you're showing up, if you're diligently building what you need to build, you shouldn't worry about defeat, and you shouldn't get discouraged with defeat. If anything, you should learn from what has happened to you, what you need to do to make it better, apply it, and then grow. And I attribute a lot of stuff that I'm telling you guys with football. And in football, we have a game plan. And normally throughout the week, if you're a student of the game, if you're somebody that really puts in work, and I'm talking about hours off the clock, from a Monday to a Saturday, you're probably preparing 80 hours in the week to get ready for a game on Sunday. And you can have a great game plan. You have everything in, you've been watching film, you've been doing everything you need to do to prepare on Sunday, but you come up short and you lose. Yes, it's discouraging, but is that the end of the season because of 1 week? No. And yes, you put in all this work to prepare for Sunday and you take the L. What is it that I need to do to make sure that it doesn't happen the next week? So what do? We sit down on a Monday and we figure out what we need to do better. The things that we have been doing great, we stay on those and we continue to do them well. But the things that got us beat, more than likely we're going to see it again. It's the same thing in life. If you have failed and you don't understand what you failed at, you're going to get that same lesson again, and you're going to get it again and again. And referring back to the NFL, if you got beat on certain plays, guess what? You're going to see them the next week, and you're going to see them the week after and the week after until you stop it. Or in this case in life, until you pass it and are able to go on to the next, to where whatever that next test is, what you've been able to learn and apply prior to and apply it now, helps you to become more successful. So you just have to look at it that way. And going back again to football, there was a time in Philly, it was actually the first game I ever played when I was in Philadelphia. We were playing the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we were down at halftime 17-0. And I just remember the entire stadium was booing us, and we were at home, and the entire stadium was booing us. And I remember as we were going in the tunnel, I didn't like it. I was just like, yo, we shouldn't be losing, basically, at the end of the day. But Jason Peters is walking by me, and he's like, yeah, they're all booing now, but watch, once we stick to this game plan, we're going to come out with a W. And sure enough, the second half, we came back. I think we scored 34 points. We made history. Like, we're the only team, or we're the first team in NFL history to be down by that score at halftime and then score 30-some points in the second half. I think Kansas City might have beaten it after us, but we were the first. But that just shows you the game plan that we had. Just because we weren't discouraged, just because in the first half it wasn't working. We stuck to what we knew. We continued to work at it, and we ended up winning. And that's the same thing that I think you need to apply in your life as well. And don't defeat yourself before you start. Have confidence in that game plan that you do have, and just attack it. And then learn as you go, and you should be pretty good. I have no mentor, and I want to get into a new field. How can I do that without guidance? Without guidance, I mean, there's people all over the place that you can look at as examples. Don't say you don't have guidance. Just the internet at your disposal. Just seeking knowledge, you have that ability to do. Just open up your phone and just get on Instagram. Try and find somebody that you want to emulate, in a sense, not copy. Just you pick certain things to piece to your own identity that you can take to help you build, help you grow, or find something else out that can lead somewhere else for you. And it's the same with, like I said, football again. It's the truth. When I was playing receiver at Maryland, I was a receiver, and I decided to switch over to defensive back. And when I did that, I didn't know nothing about playing defensive back. I had no idea anything. And one of the first things I did was I found guys that were better than me at the position. I just started looking at NFL games. I was looking at guys like Al Harris. I was looking at Charles Woodson, Champ Bailey. Like, those were guys that were doing it. And I just watched and studied pieces of them so I could understand how to play the game. I'm asking my coaches questions. I'd even get on Facebook and ask guys that were playing well. I was in their DMs asking them questions about what did they do that made them successful? What are they doing still that I need to put in my toolbox to make me better? And I think you should do the same thing. Just because you have nobody around you right now doesn't mean you can't find somebody that's on the internet, or doesn't mean you won't walk into somebody. You know, you got to be out there also too. You can't just think somebody's going to come to you if you're just sitting on the couch all day. You got to be out there. You got to search. You got to seek. You got to go to networking events. You got to go to clubs. You got to go to meetings, not nightclubs. I'm talking about clubs, stuff with business, chamber of commerce. You know, those are the things I'm talking about. If you want to expand yourself and be better and learn and grow. But, you know, that's one of the ways I did. And even when I retired, I just started looking for mentors, people that have been doing it, that are in certain fields that I need to learn from. And you gain a lot of experience that way to be able to apply things to your own life. But that only comes from you being out there. You have to make yourself present in the public to be able to rub shoulders with the right people to help you. But don't hinder yourself thinking that because you don't have anybody right now, that's how it's going to be for life. Just learn, try and advance yourself that way by the tools that you have on your phone, and go from there. Having a difficult time retaining information. How can I get better at doing that so I can better help myself and my business? Write everything down. I mean, that helps you. I don't know the science behind it, don't care about the science behind it. I just know that if you write things down, you tend to remember them. Your brain just works that way. And I remember my pops gave me a journal, I think it was about 3 years ago, and this is after I retired, and he said, son, any thought that you have, write it down. Anything that comes to your mind, just jot it. Even if you don't have your journal handy, just get used to putting things on paper, and it allows you to recall them faster. And where I was kind of hesitant, I was like, no, I know stuff because I can keep it up here. But in actuality, when I went back, I started thinking, how was I able to understand and learn and know formations, wide receiver splits, signals, tendencies, personnel? Like, how could I keep all that information and dissect it during a game? And I remember I found all my notes, like all my notebooks. As a matter of fact, this is only from one season. Like, this is not even, this is just, shoot, it's nothing, honestly. In the grand scheme of things, I probably got 20 or 30 of these books, but everything is information that I wrote, whether it was something I saw on film, something my coach might have said, something that I saw on the whiteboard, something I saw on film myself. I wrote everything down, and that was a reminder to me that, yes, that's what I need to do if I need to perform at a high level, if I need to perform the way I know I'm capable of doing. And that was just a reminder that I was able to use now, and it makes everything so much easier because of any thought that I have, I'll just jot it. And it's crazy because once I jot it down, I'm able to piece together what I need as far as ideas to make things happen. And I would say to you, do that. That's your best way to allow your mind to be clearer each time you're able to piece together information. You might have one thought and then another thought pops up that pertains to the first initial one that came into your mind, and then you start piecing together and planning. You know, people think planning is just you getting on this whiteboard and trying to connect the dots in one night. Sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it takes you just a little notepad and just one word, one sentence, and that can lead to more. And that ends up becoming the big idea, the big dream that you have, that you're always thinking about, but never jot it down. Just jot that thing down and watch what starts happening in your life. Well, I appreciate you guys submitting your questions. This is another Q&A session with Conversations with Carroll. I appreciate you doing this. When you guys do it, that allows me to think a little bit. That allows me to bring out stories that I have not necessarily shared with any of y'all ever. You know, even my closest friends don't even know some of the stuff that I'm sharing with you. So it's just good to at least use those examples. I hope it helps you. Hope you're able to share that with somebody else that might be in need or have similar questions that you might have, and hopefully some of these answers can guide you in the right way, so you know you can be responsible and do the things you need to do for yourself in your life, because at the end of the day, you got to enjoy it. You only get one life to live, and you should enjoy it, you know, and do it on your own terms. But this is Nolan Carroll. I'm signing out. Conversation with Carroll. Appreciate y'all.